Um, Nice job on your section 3 blog post, all about kind of the gameplay and gamification in our classrooms or settings today. Um, I really enjoyed how you kind of separated it into the 4 different sections. I loved your graphic of the kind of wheels turning and the gears turning. And just separating it out into, those social, cognitive, structure, and assessment categories. You started with kind of the social role, and how we want to promote that positive interdependence within our students. So just really getting them to collaborate and cooperate together, getting them to kind of rely on each other and support one another, working with each other, and learning with and from kind of their peers. I think this can lead to a much higher achievement level and kind of greater productivity in the classroom. But a lot needs to go into management in order to create that positive interdependence and that positive environment. Um, then moving on to cognitive, um, it really allows students to feel free to try new things. It definitely has that higher level of engagement. They don't think of it as learning. They're playing a game, right? Um, but it's important that teachers still incorporate an appropriate level of challenge to kind of maintain the flow of the game and really ensure that learning is occurring. Um, and then provide those adaptive features if needed. That's especially important in my case, teaching special education. I always have to think of ways that I can adapt or be ready for things to go wrong and help my students to overcome that and kind of learn and problem solve and that sort of thing. Then moving on to structure, the way that you design a game or that one is already designed, it kind of will affect how students respond. So you really need to think about what students want them. What do you want from students? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to discover? What do you want them to learn? Um, you really gave a great problem solving example. If our goal is for our students to problem solve, we need to look at the problem solving aspects, right? We don't need to look at the final outcome. Did they get the right answer, yes or no? We really need to look at the process that they took and the problem solving steps that they took in order to get to where they were. Um, and then just looking at the assessment, it's an alternative way to show understanding, right? A lot of kids can have test anxiety or that social anxiety and that sort of thing, and that can affect their assessment levels. And so just knowing that we can have a game thrown in there to test their knowledge, and they may not even know that they're being tested, is kind of a fun way to incorporate that game and play into the classroom. And then moving on to talking about gamification in the classroom setting. Once again, loved your graphic, looking at the 3 different sections that you think play a role. Um, and I do agree with you that, having these games brought into the classroom are realistic and it makes things a lot more authentic to our students. Could really kind of give them a higher sense of engagement and really increase that active learning. Um, and then looking at the high levels of thinking, they'll have different roles. They have to problem solve. It's systematic. All of those things that they're doing, and they may not even know they're doing it. So I think that's really important to take from this. Um, but just overall, in general, the games in the classroom, it's adding something new to the classroom, right? A lot of times it has not been done. It's more of that direct instruction. We do this, I lecture, you write down the problems, you answer the questions, that sort of thing. So just providing a game is, adding something new to the classroom, and it can help students to enjoy learning more and kind of get rid of that pen and paper mentality. Um, you know, I personally love to incorporate technology into my games. If I, pull out, or if I say, all right, we're going to play Kahoot, we're going to play Gimkit, their faces just light up. And that's what they're excited for. They're excited to want to do their math problems now. So it's just something to think about, but definitely want to incorporate those games more into my classroom. Um, so nice job once again, and we'll see you next week.